river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. Flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. Flowing in my soul. Yeah, there's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul. Flowing in my soul.
Yes, welcome, y'all. Welcome. LL, I'm laughing at myself in the chat. Not me talking about happy summer solstice, y'all. Actually, hey, what's good, everybody? Thank y'all so much for celebrating the SMA Solstice Year in celebration. Summer was only one very small, but beautiful part of it. Thank y'all so very much for joining us for what has been a year of transformation. As you can see from our beautiful illustration here, for a decade or so, we've been really building and growing and flowing into something really beautiful. It started with some tributaries, then it's grown into this 10-year long flow, which included adding in a bunch of you beautiful folks, a bunch of initiatives, and a bunch of campaigns. And now we're in a place where we've rested, we've learned, we've listened to each other, and we're welcoming some new flows. And so tonight's really all about celebrating this past year, recognizing where we've been in the last 10 years, and making way for where we're going in the next 10 years, and hoping that you'll join us along the way, knowing that you will. And we're just going to read this little quote at the bottom. It says, "The Southern Freedom Movement is a long river, a continuum of consistent opposition to injustice. Each generation that steps into that river at a different point in its turn. We live in its legacy, and we shape it for the next one who follows." So for the last 10 years, y'all, we've been building this legacy, creating this flow. And now it's time for us to continue to deepen, to continue to widen, to continue to bring more people in, continue to kick ass. I guess I should say I'm Natalie Nia Falk. I'm representing alternate roots. I live in New Orleans, and I use she and her pronouns. And I have the lovely honor to be your mistress of ceremony. And so we want to start off with a little bit of a quote. And it says, "We are holding jewels in our hands that have been developed over the last 10 years. What is the plan for the next 10 years?" And so over the course of this next hour, fam, we kind of just want to take some time to celebrate where we've been, of course, always, right? But then to really pick forward the ideal of where we're going to go for the next 10 years, how we're going to do that, and how we want you to be involved too. Because you've gotten us here, right? And you hopefully and surely will be getting us here for the next 10 years. But before we do that, we have to take a second to acknowledge what has been happening in this current moment, obviously, right? There's a lot going on in this world. There's a lot going on in our hometowns. There's a lot going on in our own spirits. But internationally, we know that the work that we're doing is also being connected to the struggle for liberation in Palestine, for the liberation of the Congolese people. And so for those folks who are fighting not the same fights, but who are also fighting on front lines too, we take a second and we breathe for them. It's clear that no one is free unless we're all free. And so we acknowledge the struggles that are happening both here and across the seas and anywhere else where people are hurting. We hold space for them. And I'm curious, over this last instance, the last year, what's been going on in your communities? And, I'm gonna pick on a few of y'all because, I like to pick and play around. Y'all know I play too much. And so I'm curious if folks could tell me about what's either a struggle or a victory that you've had, because we know, right? This has been a challenging year, and it's okay to name that and honor that. But we also know that we've been doing our damn thing. Baby, we've been out here shining, flossing, winning, honey, glowing, drinking our water. not minding our business because we what been shifting power. So I'm curious if someone would be telling me, let's start, Rita. Rita, what about you? Can you tell me about a challenge or victory that you've experienced or upheld in your community?
Oh, baby, it's so good to see you, Nana.
I know. I'm geeked. I'm geeked.
See all of y'all. Well, I mean, y'all know that my sort of house of struggle is healthcare, health and healing justice, and it is exploding. Both over the year from the point of view of the People's CDC, where COVID is still part of the pandemic, and there is, the vaccines now cost money, et cetera. The purging of millions of patients on Medicaid, most of whom do not know they've even lost their health insurance until they need it. And well, Gaza. I mean, there are healthcare workers for Palestine jumping up all over the place, and it's very exciting. There's great hope and opportunity within this pain, and the interconnectedness of all of our struggles, from Stop Cop City to Medicaid expansion to don't close the trauma center and rural healthcare to the genocidal assault in Gaza. These are all connected, and a lot of people are seeing that. And sorry to go on so long, but that's what's been happening in my house.
Oh, thank you so much, Rita. I really appreciate that. I mean, you can see that people are coming together to be like, no, we actually can take care of ourselves. Like, I'm trying to mess with our healthcare, and we've seen the magic that has happened at the Stop Cop City work, right? And we also know too, we can't always rely on the state for our wellness and our wholeness, because a few years ago it was a big deal. You had to get COVID tested, you had to get free tests, and now they're trying to make you pay for it. And so we can acknowledge that our lives are on the line in terms of health, in terms of security and safety. And we can also acknowledge that when we see other people who are in harm, all the way across the world, that we can band up, rise up, and show up and put pressure on people to call for things like a ceasefire, to call for peace, to call for Palestine to be liberated. Thank you so much, Rita.
There is one other little piece we were actually able.
Rita, I want you to share. I do want to share, but I know we only have a
okay. Stop.
I know. I'm so sorry. I really want you to share, but please feel free to share.
There's everybody.
Exactly. And so, I mean, speaking of everybody, one of my favorite people, George, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's been going on in your communities? What are you seeing? Are there any challenges and our victories that you want to share, beloved? And if not, you can totes pass. I don't want to pressure anyone into being like, this is going on in my world.
It's all good. Thank you, dear. So good to see you. I was here typing away, so I'll just read out what's going on. But yeah, I'm George here, Skokie Creek land, repping the Amplify Georgia Collaborative at the moment, on the bodily autonomy and abortion access front, both of which being attacked left and right. Comes to transgender affirming care, trans health care, when it comes to abortion access. So yeah, and also with Cop City, I'm really fighting against our bodily autonomy as well. So yeah, we're working on really ambitious reproductive freedom bills, and really fighting for funding for folks who are seeking abortion, especially out of state. And we achieved that with Atlanta City Council, even though they're funding Cop City and some other BS, but we got some funding for ARC, and we're working on getting more folks to fund them. So yeah, that's what's going on for me.
Thank you, George. Thank you so much. And what George just so excellently did was kind of lay out how all of these things are interconnected, right? How body autonomy not only is about one simple thing, it's not about access to reproduction. Well, it is about access to your right to reproduction. It's also about who can do what with their bodies and control them, access to hormones and transgender healthcare, but also about just being safe, being able to walk down the street and not being harassed, or your earth, your land not being turned into this training zone for militarization, right? And so what you just told us is really a very, very beautiful symbolism of SMA. All of our works, all of the front lines, all of the campaigns we're running, the work that we're doing is interconnected and depend upon each other to win. And so thank you so much. And we are speaking of abundance, mad coins getting rained down upon y'all. The coins are going to come. The affirmation is money and opportunity come to this work with ease. And so I'm speaking that for you. Thank y'all so much for sharing. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, George. I really appreciate it. And so, yeah, y'all, there's some challenges this year. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but guess what? We got some wins. George is getting funded. Cop City ain't gonna be a thing if y'all have something to do with it. I heard. So yes, we're gonna learn from the challenges and we're gonna hold the nuances there, but we're also gonna celebrate the hell of our wins. And SMA, y'all, this Soulstice Year, we've had some pretty powerful wins, I would say. This has been a season, a year of us taking time to renew our purpose, our structure, look at accountability structure based on our shared principles of unity. And so all year long, y'all been part of this. Y'all been doing it with this. And you know, as things go, we follow the natural order of the earth, the natural order of the land, the nature, right? Because they know it knows it's doing, and we're just trying to be with it. We're trying to roll with it. So in January and March, fam, we did some planning and prepping. We took a second to pause, listen, and reflect as you do. Some call it hibernation. And we asked ourselves, how can we manifest the action plan that came from SMA 10? What is the movement infrastructure that we're going to need to build to carry out this action plan? That led us right on to the spring equinox, in which things begin to sprout, things begin to grow. And so we did some deep listening, right? We took some time to have some conversations around decision-making, representation, rapid response, conflict resolution, and SMA's governance throughout its 10-year history. So in the spring, what we did was we started to plant the things, right? And they started to blow, they started to grow in some listening sessions. We deepened our analysis on some things that would then allow us to reshape how SMA can function at the fundamental level. And then in the summertime, things start to blossom and bloom. You know, you start to see a little fruit bud here and there come. But that's when we had our summer solstice, and it went down this summer, baby. We had this art of strategy building intergenerational listening ceremonies. And we want to shout out for sure Loretta Ross, Miss Glory, Kanzi Karana, Glory and Nev House, Mandy Carter, so many people who allowed us to listen to their stories and connect and understand across generations. And so the fall, we had our fall equinox. So in the winter, we were hibernating and preparing and learning and resting and listening. During the spring, we started to plant the seeds, right? By deepening our analysis around how SMA can actually hold itself in conflict resolution and rapid response and being together as a Southern region. And then in the fall, then in the summer, we did some listening things. And in the fall, we did some retreating, right? And now we're back here in the winter time and we're ready to kind of grow from there. And so one of the best people I know, Shafia, has a great quote for us. We're learning from the mistakes of the past. We often focused on the external fight and spent very little time on the internal processes, cultures, and how we apply the lessons of how we want to be. And so I'm going to shift it over to Ayana, who is going to tell us a little bit more about how we think that we want to be in the world we want to be in.
Excellent. Thank you, Natalie, Mia. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayana Clemens. I'm one of the Southern Movement Assembly regional organizers, and I'm based here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, land of the Yuchi, Muskogee, and Cherokee people. So as Natalie Nia mentioned, this Soulstice Year was an opportunity for us to recenter and get re-energized as well as recommit to the Southern Movement Assembly principles, our statement of purpose, and the multi-year action plan for a new era. So tonight, we are so happy and thrilled to reorient ourselves in who the Southern Movement Assembly is, our beliefs, and our commitments. So the SMA, besides it being all of y'all who are on this call, it is a formation of organizations, of groups, and Southern frontline assemblies that together we converge to develop shared action plans that are rooted in political alignment. There are 9 principles that connect the members of the Southern Movement Assembly. And these principles reflect many years of organizational partnerships, as well as a synthesis of ideas that's based in collective practice and historical example. These principles that are laid out before you serve to name who we are, what we believe, and our purpose for working together to advance the Southern freedom movement in the 21st century. We affirm these principles in the foundational belief that we are stronger together. And in the words of the great Fannie Lou Hamer, nobody's free till everybody is free. And so we are also excited about presenting tonight a clear and renewed purpose of this time. So it states that in view of an ongoing capitalist collapse that is intensified by white supremacy, climate crisis, and rising fascism, the function of the Southern Movement Assembly is to converge Southern frontline assemblies to collectively develop a shared action plan that is rooted in political alignment. The role of leadership is to practice bottom-up, grassroots governance to build the infrastructure to carry it out. And so, as all of y'all know, the Southern Movement Assembly demonstrates and flexes our power through the People's Movement Assembly methodology. Our strategy, our offering, and our building block to proactive governance and representation. We believe that the People's Movement Assembly is a vehicle that is going to continue to produce multi-year action plans. And so at the 10-year mark of the Southern Movement Assembly, which many of you who are on this call, we all set out to build a multi-year cross-frontline plan to build the movement infrastructure that we need to meet this moment. And so at SMA 10, the synthesis team offered this beautiful quote to ground us in the commitment. And I'll go ahead and read it. The infrastructure that we build is like a web that holds us. Infrastructure means connected systems of care, governance, education, culture, safety, skill building, communications, and crew building. We recognize a global focus with local application that is rooted in mutual respect. And so some of the components of the action plan that we committed to at SMA 10 include the People's Movement Assemblies, Freedom and Survival Schools, Land and Liberation Projects, and a People's Data and Resource Grid. So these are going to be the components that we're going to be setting in motion starting in 2024. And I'm going to pass it to Steph to share a little bit about how y'all can represent in the Southern Movement Assembly. Thanks, Steph.
Thanks, Ayanna. Hey, y'all, it's so good to see everybody's faces in this season. And I'm Stephanie Gilliu. I work with Project South based here in Atlanta, Georgia, Muskogee territory. And we're excited to bring sort of this vision of representation and how we build movement governance. So how does it work? Our vision of the Southern Movement Assembly since its founding was to be a movement governance process and vehicle, an organizing strategy really led by frontline organizations and groups. It's rooted in the work. So this flow kind of represents where we're headed. We start in our groups, we start in our organizations, we start in our neighborhoods, and we organize our frontline assemblies, we organize spaces that we gather people, we figure out what the problem is, what our vision and solution is, and what action strategies we're going to take to get there. It's a 1, 2, 3. We do those assemblies and then we choose representatives and send them to the SMA regional convergence. And then from there, choose our governance and sit into our work teams. And I'll go to the next one just so you can see it all spread out, but that's the cycle, right? So to see it in beautiful pictures and big props to Lou Murray for putting these graphics together. We have that SMA 10. And y'all remember back in North Carolina in September 2022, we go back home to all of our Southern front lines. And then we start to build and organize these assemblies. These assemblies choose those reps, and those build right into the SMA convergence. So that, in this drawing, is like SMA 11. At SMA 11, we will find ways to select the next governance team rotation from the people who are doing the work and representing their communities. We'll go into work teams and we'll start the cycle all over again. So that's part of the representation, and we'll go to the next real quick. Because this is what we're talking about when we're talking about representation and governance, is making decisions together. These aren't conferences. These aren't spaces where we're just coming to learn. We're doing that, but we're really building governance, which to me means making decisions together when these systems collapse, and to build new systems for liberation. So we got to be serious. We got to be rigorous. So the criteria is here. We've got a commitment to our baseline political alignment and to those principles of unity that Ayanna shared. We've got a commitment to doing base building work. We got to grow our numbers. We got to be building up our forces. We've got to commit to thorough preparation and political education, right? So we need an orientation process. How does this work? How do we come into it? How do we make sense of it? We need to do PMA training so that folks can be organizing people's movement assemblies where they're based. And then even how to represent. If you've got representatives coming out of your assembly, let's do some preparatory work and pull them in so that they come to that SMA regional convergence prepped and ready to represent and be accountable to their home communities, right? And then we got to communicate it back. So this is just some of the action. You can see the criteria for representation in the SMA is commitment to our people and doing the work. So we'll go to the next. But what do we mean by baseline political alignment? It's very similar, right? We have to be accountable to Southern front lines and the local leadership on those front lines, right? We've got to be rooted in legacies of the US South and global South movements. This is our political alignment, right? We've got to be committed to these principles of unity. That says how we work, right? And we've got to have a shared political vision of collective liberation for all peoples. So this is not a neutral process. This is, and this is general agreement, right? We don't have to agree about every single detail, but we do need to be moving in the same direction. We need to be moving with our communities and in accountability to those front lines towards collective liberation. So that's the baseline political alignment that we're looking for. We really trust that folks are building from there, but we feel like being explicit is super helpful. And then we can move into the work. So let's go to the next slide real quick, because that just says who we are and how we're moving in representation. And we can move in these different spaces because this whole process and project takes leadership. So we've got the General Assembly, which is everybody actively participating in all of these spaces, providing their leadership, developing the action plans. The governance team is meeting in a weekly basis to coordinate across those work teams and make sure that the strategies that the General Assembly calls for get implemented. And the work teams happen as well to really put that work plan into action in our different areas. And a new area that we created is legacy advisors. One thing we don't want to forget is our own history. We want to learn from our experience. We want to keep our folks that may or may not be able to play at full capacity in all this work. We want them to be available to say, hey, y'all, whoa, stop. We need to check in. We need to check in on some things. Or we can say, we're not sure exactly which direction to move. We need to call our veterans in. So we created this legacy advisors container to hold that history, to hold that knowledge and bring it into the process. So I think I'll just do the next one and then pass it back. So the SMA work teams are going to be devised exactly based on the action plan that Ayanna described. So we've got work teams working on all of these things. This is an invitation to everybody on this call, folks in your communities, folks who want to throw down, and really about the work you're already doing. What we heard from you all and what we designed in that SMA 10, this action plan is based on what you're already working on. We just want to coordinate it. We want to be together in it. We want to make it stronger. We want to learn from each other so that multi-year action plan really leaves something on the ground that we need in our communities. So our work teams are going to help do that. And this is a big invitation to participate in these over the next year. And I think the next one is it. Oh yeah, decision-making. How do we make decision-making as we do build out this governance? So we use consensus-based decision-making inside the leadership, whether that's governance or work teams, but we build based on collective consensus-based decision-making. At the assemblies, we use synthesis. which is a decision-making process based on collective dialogue that determines those shared agreements and is not about a vote up or down, but really is about generating the best thinking and the collective way forward. So those are the ways that we use decision making. We wanted to demystify it so that we could invite everybody back into the process based on what you've been telling us over the last many years and the way we feel like is in line with what's necessary, what the ground is calling for, what this moment is calling for in terms of movement spaces where we're really making decisions together, building out our action plans, and then implementing. So I'll pass it back.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steph. I'm like, that was such a good overview of what's been happening, which y'all said that we needed and how we said we're going to format it. And I'm curious if folks can just take a second and all the things you just saw, all the mini formations you saw, the work that you're already doing, right? All of it already exists in there. The land liberation projects, the data gathering, the PMAs, all of those things are already happening. I'm curious, where do you see your formation fitting into that? And this isn't something that we even need people to answer out loud. Take a second to just take a breath. Start to dream and plant the seed to see where exactly in this robust, beautiful Southern formation are you and your people. It is very clear that this was created from work that's already happening, that already exists. And so now it's really just about coming together with people who are also doing it to strengthen the practices, to strengthen the way that we move through them, and to bring them back and connect them to the other work teams so that we can continue to fulfill our work. So now we kind of want to talk a little bit about how does one enter these different working groups, into these different spheres of the SMA that's been so beautifully constructed. And so I'll pass it over to you, Lou. And as Lou talks about this, we continue to think about, where are you in this? Are you in multiple places? Are you switching, I'm here now, I'm over there tomorrow? Because we like that. We like some cross-pollination, baby. Continue to dream about where you fit into this formation, because you do.
It's Natalie Nia. And thank you, FJ, for taking care of the slides tonight. Really appreciate you for doing that. Yeah. Hey y'all, my name's Lou. My pronouns are they, them, and I am calling in from snowy Zionville, North Carolina. And it's the home of the Yuchi and the Cherokee and the Monotone peoples. And I'm real excited to be here with y'all tonight, and I'm really excited for what's next. So I'm thinking about this, like our movement river, right? So like we're at the turning point and the next era. This last year was this turning point. And so what is the river flowing forward? And in our action plan, we said we choose to dream and scheme beyond the collapse. We choose liberation and joyful resistance. And we invite you to build this moment with us. And that came directly from our action plan, which we're rooting all of this in. Thinking about, all right, so Steph just laid out all of those, like, what are the new roles? And don't worry, feel free, there are going to be SpaceX questions. Please ask questions in the chat. If you also want to look back at any of this, you can see the slides, all of the things. There'll be plenty of opportunities. But if you go to the next slide, FJ, a real easy way to get involved is we're going to have some entry points into this next year, right? Because the best way to learn how to do it is just to do it, to get in. In the spring, so we're going to take a break after this. We're closing out this year. We're gonna take that a little bit of time and then come back in January. And as we get more light, we'll hit that winter solstice and have a little bit more light coming in. I know I will be happy that it doesn't get dark at 5 o'clock. But yeah, so we'll start this first rotation of our governance team. Will begin the very first rotation of in the past we've had the governance council. This will now be a governance team. This first rotation will go all the way until SMA 11, when then we'll bring in new people. So that will start here. And then we will also start, we said we're going to have these 4 work teams, right? But we also were like, we don't have to start them all at once. We can start with what we know we need, right? Like immediately, and let things happen as we need them to happen, right? And so we're going to start with this People's Movement Assembly team. So if you are interested in being part of the PMA work team, if you're interested in thinking about how to plan PMAs, and particularly how to plan a PMA training camp, you can join this work team in January. That's an entry point right there. And they will be working up until the spring to plan the PMA training camp, which I'm going to pass to Suzanne Farr real quick, to tell us a little bit about what this PMA training is.
I can't tell you how happy I am to be able to talk about this. As you know, we've been facing anti-democratic forces for decades, and they certainly have sharpened their skills and grown in recent years. So it's great to have a training program that we can use to face those forces. So this is a 5-day session where it's actually, I think, going to be the first of our freedom and survival schools. But this one in particular is to train on how to use the PMA as a tool for organizing and how to get organizing skills. When the PMA is such a great way, I keep saying PMA, and I think everyone knows that's the People's Movement Assembly. It's such a great way to connect people. It's a great way to create strategies, but probably most importantly, it's a great way to move together. So we're hoping for PMAs in all of our communities, and that they will be able to work in connection and in sync with one another. I think when we think about this, I think we'll come to think about, one of the problems that we see now, that our nonprofits are not generating as much movement work as we all would hope. And so I think we'll come to see the PMA as an add-on or an alternative to nonprofits, where you don't have to belong or to be an employee of one, but you'll have a way to move within your community. So this is a great time. We're shooting for late April, and again, 5 days. And this will be for people who want to, I think, be able to step up and take leadership. Be people who want to step up and take leadership within the governance council, but people who want to step up and take leadership in their communities. If we can get that group of people organized, that group of people trained, we'll be able to move in sync and move in with commitment in a way that we haven't been able to do as much as we would like to, all of us across the country, much as we would like to have done. So please think about that. Think about stepping up in January to begin planning for it. And if not being part of the planning, hope you'll be thinking about being a participant. We look forward to that.
Thank you, Far. Yeah, very excited about this opportunity, and and that particularly that People's Movement Assembly team. If you have experience organizing PMAs, and you want to join that work team, we want you there, right? And we might be calling some of y'all who we know have experience organizing PMAs, so then after the PMA training camp, then let's go out and have a summer of assemblies. This is going to be, let's have regularly summer of assemblies. This is part of our seasonal flow. We did this year before last, leading into SMA 10. All right, we're going to get organized. We're going to have assemblies all over the South, and then they'll send delegates to SMA 11. And right, we know that 2024 is going to be a wild year, right? Like, we got an election. Just because it's not on the calendar doesn't mean we don't know that it's coming, right? Like, we know it's coming, and we know that we need to be prepared regardless of regardless of the outcome. Regardless of the outcome, we need to be prepared. And so that's what we're going to do at SMA 11. That's what we're going to do. So we're hoping this will be in late September, early October before the election. So no matter what happens in November 2024, we're ready. We're ready. And we're also in that time where, like I said, we're going to welcome new leadership into rotation 2 of the governance team. And it might change its name. Governance team might change. That is the placeholder name but to be determined by the future governance leadership body. And then in January 2025, because we've prepared, right? No matter what the outcome, we're gonna have we'll have something like the people's first 100 days, right? Yeah. So that's what we got coming up in 2024. And how you can jump in. And I'm going to, if you can bring us out of this, FJ, because I'm going to pass to Ariana, who's gonna Ariana and to kind of like ask y'all some questions a little bit about how you want to engage, or what you're feeling like you can engage with this next year.
All right, thank you, Lou. All right, guys, so hopefully y'all have got some great information. Y'all are charged up and ready to go with all the ways that you can get involved with us in our reformed Southern Movement Assembly formation. So now we're just gonna engage with you all and give you some questions to see like who's ready to move with us and how y'all are ready to plug in. So we're gonna do a little poll. And I know a lot of information has been coming at y'all, so if you have any questions, now's your chance to put those in the chat. And let me see if I can get this poll going. All right.
We might be having some technical difficulties, so we might just put the questions in the chat and have folks answer.
Y'all should be able to see the poll. Yeah, George says he sees the poll. So can y'all see the poll?
You can see it.
Okay, great. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go through the questions. Hopefully you see these questions also on your screen. So the first poll question that we have and that we want to hear from you guys are, what are your priorities moving into 2024? And so if you can just type in, top 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, bam, what y'all have going on, what y'all are looking forward to. Let us know what your priorities are. The second question that we have for you is, are you interested in being on one of our work teams? So Steph and Lou both spoke about the different work teams that we'll have with the PMAs and the Freedom and Summer and Survival Schools and land banking and the data, all tied to our estimating action plan. So if you are interested in being on a work team, let us know, yes or no. Let us know if you need some time to think about it. The third question is, are you planning to organize a PMA next year? So let us know where you're leaning. If you're totally ready to jump in, if you need a little help, if you're not planning to do anything at all. And on a scale from 1 to 5, how interested are you in coming to our PMA training camp that FAR spoke about holding in April to get some training and some education to gear you up to hold that PMA? Again, on a scale to 1 to 5. And then lastly, what are some things that you would like to see on our SMA monthly membership calls? So next year we'll be resuming our monthly calls with the membership. So let us know any ideas that you might have or things that you want to see, content, education, training, issue focus, whatever you want to see, whatever would be helpful for you in order for you to move, let us know. All right, so I'll give y'all a few minutes and then I'll close out the poll. But also I just wanted to note that the staff organizers I didn't introduce myself. I'm Ariana, one of the staff organizers based in Mobile. Along with Lou and Ayana, we've been doing one-on-ones with all our members throughout the end of this year, wrapping up this solstice season. So if you haven't heard from us, or if you haven't heard from us and you just haven't had time to get back, because it's been busy with all the holidays, if you are interested in tapping in with us for a one-on-one, please put your email in the chat so we can make sure to reach out to you. And with that being said, hopefully y'all had time. I'm gonna end the poll. so we can roll it along. All right. Y'all want to see the results? Or do we have time for that? All right. Well, we'll keep it moving. I'm going to pass it on over to Colette, the infamous, the famous, the amazing Colette Keyshawn Battles.
Word. I want to see the poll.
Look, girl, me too. I'm like, I'm nosy.
I just could I see how did we win? I'm just trying to figure out, did we win? Could I see the poll? Is it impossible? No, tech people. Okay. Oh, here it is.
Yes, for the messy tech.
Natalie Nia, some people got their crew already. Some people, and a lot of people want to come to the training camp. I know what I answered for the monthly membership, what I wanted to see. I said I wanted to see recipes for cocktails and mocktails if we're gonna keep having these evening calls. I'm gonna need for us to just sit out. Let's do what we do, a happy hour estimate. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I put in there. I can't see the aggregation of what people wrote, but I think that's what it is. So thanks everybody. Peace, y'all. My name is Colette Keyshawn Battle. I use she, her pronouns. I normally call in from Choctaw Territory in Louisiana. Today I'm calling in from Atlanta, but it's cold. It's cold. It's cold in Atlanta. I'm so excited to be here, but mostly I'm excited about this solstice season and what has happened. Because many of y'all know me. I know y'all do. And if you know me, you know, I went into this solstice season with my face booted up and was like, why we got to talk some more? We got to talk again. We got to review. We got to go over all of this one more time. Do we really need to ask these questions? The truth is we did. It was time to assess. It was time to review. It was time to see what we had, who we had, where we were going. There's a new context that Suzanne mentioned. The world is changing. The world is shifting. The leaders are emerging. And we had to take stock of what we had, where we were going, and what we wanted to do. It has been a beautiful process. It has been an honorable process. I'm so proud to have been a part of this. Mostly, I want to offer gratitude. I want to offer gratitude to Stephanie and Suzanne and Glory in particular, 3 Gs who have been holding us down for a really long time, training a lot of us up. Lord have mercy with the patients, they going to heaven. Lord have mercy, they going to heaven. And I just want to say there's gratitude for people who always give the love and the leadership to take folks to the next level and to take the crew to the next level. And speaking of the crew, I just want to offer like a straight up shout out to these staff organizers. Ayana, Ariana, Lou is some of the best in the region. It's an honor to work with you. It is an honor to learn with you and learn from you. And wherever many of us can be of help and support, we look forward to your continued leadership and emergence in this region. With y'all, we are definitely gonna win. And I want to acknowledge, this is a tough year, y'all. This has been a tough year for everybody. I feel blessed every day. I get to wake up and eat and sleep in a warm bed because I went to San Francisco and I saw the homeless population. I went to Seattle and I saw the homeless population. I see them here in Atlanta. They're in New Orleans. It's a whole bunch of our folks out on the streets right now. It's a whole bunch of people who don't have access to medicine, who don't have access to vaccines, who don't have access to really basic things like permission over your own body, as Natalie was saying. We got people under attack. We have people who are just trying to survive. And what I know and what I must acknowledge is that this is what's happening right now. This is real and we are here. But I also want to acknowledge that we're winning. There have been wins despite a whole bunch of losses. I heard about what happened at that Pine School, how those folks stood up to those white supremacists. And you know what I said to myself? I'm mad we have to face this, but God doggone it if the South don't have some real warriors. If we have to stand up, we'll stand up. And that's what they did. It was been an inspiration for me. In the Gulf South, we've been able to get together hundreds of organizations, and we've had some hiccups, we've had some bumps, but we made it through. We had our Gulf gathering, and we have a new direction, combining the front lines of the Gulf and Appalachia to move with and in tandem with the SMA. We are rising. This is happening. We are winning and we are moving despite everything that's coming at us. And you got to believe and you got to know they're throwing everything at us. And we're still here. We're still standing. I know it doesn't feel like it, but what I want to acknowledge is that everybody we need and everything we need, we have. And it is an honor to be a Southerner and to be part of this Southern Movement Assembly and to move and learn and grow as we face this next level. this solstice season is really giving us the pathway, the guidelines to go, and it's time to go. What we have in this solstice season is a recommitment from a lot of people to keep on moving. And yes, we've had to change a few things because times have changed. So I hope you will take the time to really look into some of the things that Lou and Natalie Nia have been lining out and Ariana have been lining out. Check it out. Some stuff has changed. Some things have moved. But if we don't move and we don't change, we die. So we have done what we need to do to go, and we are ready to go. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of this, but mostly I'm excited to ask you a question if you can get into the chat. What do you think is possible over the next few years? If we're moving in alignment as a Southern movement powerhouse, what is possible over the next few years? Let me see some of those responses into your chat, and we'll just read off a few. But I do want to hear, what do you think is possible? We need to know, what does our ground and our front line think we can do in the next few years? If we are moving in alignment as a powerhouse, what's possible? Let's take a look. Y'all know I can't work the computer and look at the chat at the same time, so let me look at the chat over here. Yes. Mutual aid solidarity networks with free spaces for the people. Hallelujah. Sustainable. Local food hubs, community compost initiatives. See, look at this. Look at this crew. We composting already. Victory, collective power, ecological restoration. Amen. Social housing, housing cooperatives. We might mess around and shut down some prisons. Who wrote that? Word up, word up. Let's just go on and do this. Why we got slavery in this country anyway? I'm just saying, let's shut this down. Let's shut this down. A rebirth of the labor movement. I mean, is there not a better time than when our entire economy is going to have to shift over into a new way of being to redo this labor movement? A Southern Regional Alliance of Power against fascism. I have been studying fascism around the world, and I'm telling y'all what Suzanne Farr has been telling us for years is right. The fascists are here. They are rising. If we stop them in the South, we stop them everywhere. The world is going to learn from us. We have to take this on. This is going to take courage and learning and a little bit of the ability to move your ego out of the way. We're going to have to do this one together because it's real. Freedom for Palestine, a network of community schools. The South got something to say. Hey, hey, reimagining. So unemployment is no longer a thing. Healing justice, Ashe, community gardens, synchronizing our efforts for that intergenerational roux. I see you, Angela. You know them Louisiana people always got to throw some roux up in here somewhere to make it delicious. That's what I'm hearing. We're going to make it delicious. Free to land. Free to land. I learned that one a long time ago. Y'all, these are just some of the visions from just some of the people. These are just some of the possibilities from some of the moments. If we put this together, if we begin again, if we use this moment of solstice to recommit and get clear on where we are going, acknowledging what we know is happening to us, our people, to you and your family, to me and my crew. If we acknowledge this right now and we make some of these visions happen, we can change the world. The South always has. The South always will. They need us to win, everybody. They need us to get this together. They need us to do it, and we need y'all. This is not a one-person show. This is not a two-person show. This is a mass movement moment, and we're gonna have to rise up together. It's not good enough for you to move by yourself. It's time to get your crew. You get your crew, I'm gonna get my crew, and let's meet. Let's meet on these front lines. Let's do what we gotta do. Let's save our people, and let's go. Thank you, everybody. Join us. Do what we gotta do. Get on a work team. It's time to work. Natalie Nia, I'm gonna hand it over to Ariana, I believe, but I just wanna say thank you to you and your leadership and for getting us through this beautiful, beautiful moment. Appreciate you. Ariana, over to you.
All right, guys. Hasn't this been a beautiful call? I'm going to make space now. If there are any questions, any points of clarity, if anything resonating, y'all can throw it out, come off mute, put it in the chat. I'm just going to quickly go through the calendar again so y'all know what's coming up in 2024. 2024 is a big year. We've all talked about how important it is. We got a lot of work we want to achieve. So we got to hit the ground running. As soon as y'all eat y'all turkey, Thanksgiving's over, Christmas coming, y'all gonna get full, and then we got to be ready to get on them toes. Let's go, let's go. Okay, so can we get the calendar slide back up so people can see what I'm talking about? But we're going to be reaching out to y'all. I mean, I'm talking about as soon as you finish eating, we're going to be calling. So rest up well. Hibernation period is over. 2024, we on the move. We done been through a lot of tough times. We done came through it together. So we know we can do this work. It's been hard and we've still achieved, we've overcome, and we've done the work. So now we're ready to move, y'all. So coming up January, like I said, we're going to be reaching out to y'all to join these work teams. We're going to be putting together our PMA training. So if you're interested in being on that team, we're going to be reaching out. We have our new governance team coming together to help us make those big decisions as we're moving this work. The PMA training camp is kind of your first point coming up in April. So y'all look forward to that, especially we're looking forward to all those assemblies that are going to be coming up and coming out of this training. So first point is our PMA training camp. Look forward to invitations to that. If you have said that you were interested, we're definitely going to be reaching out. If you are a veteran PMA organizer, you know, we're definitely going to be reaching out to get you part of that planning team. So look forward to that in April. Next summer, we're going to do our summer of assemblies. Better than last time. This time's going to be a great time. So look forward to, hopefully y'all have got y'all crew together. If not, y'all got a little bit of time, you know, January, first quarter, get your people, think about what y'all need. And then boom, summer, doing our assemblies. And then, you know, SMA 11, we looking forward to getting together again. I ain't seen y'all in a minute, you know, a lot of y'all. So SMA 11 is going to be coming up in September. You know, we have elections in November. So we got a lot of moving pieces. That's what we're looking forward to. I hope y'all are looking forward to seeing us too. That's all I got. Any questions? Anybody excited? I'm excited. Are y'all excited? Because I'm like excited. Are y'all excited? Come on. Make some noise.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up.
Okay,
I'm fired up.
You coming to ATL, sorry? No.
You know we ready.
Like,
We ready.
Okay, but seriously, thank y'all for being here with us tonight. We hope y'all have enjoyed this call just as much as we did. We've enjoyed the Soulstice Year. Thank y'all for rolling with us. We've learned and we've grown so much together. I love y'all. Natalie, Nia, if there's nothing else I need to say.
You know what? Don't even think there's nothing else anyways to say, but thank you so much. It's just like, can we just take a second? The vibe, the energy, the wisdom, the knowledge, the beauty. I'm like, yes, God, how do you, the full package? I'm like, the SMA staff is just like top tier all day long. So shout out to the SMA staff, y'all. Shout out to the Governance Council, our governance team for bringing it together. Shout out to the future. Shout out to the last decade. Shout out to the next decade, honey bun. How about that?
Yes.
We're all in this together, y'all. Now make sure y'all stay connected. Make sure
OMG.
join the working team. So much love to y'all. And there's only one way for us to end this. In celebration. Next time, bring your cocktails and mocktails. We're going to close with some music, y'all. Y'all be well. Take care of yourselves over the holiday. And so much love. Stay fortified. Okay.
Hello. I see you.
We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Everyone. family.
Y'all know y'all gotta turn up on that part. Y'all know they turn up on that part.
We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Sing it to me. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Living life is fun, and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we have for the future and our goals in sight. We know we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do.